Red alert, audits inbound, internal leak detected, archive pressure rising across the grid. Command deck alarms flare as systems lose pressure in Records Bay 3. Listen up, armies die from lasers. Organizations die from lost documents. Purview is not a dashboard, it's a defense system. Today you'll build an audit-ready ECM in the cloud galaxy. SharePoint becomes the fortress grid. Purview forms the shield wall. We align to 3 interstellar treaties: ISO 27001, GDPR, SOC 2, so you survive inspections and hostile fire. Stay sharp, there's a secret step that makes this 10 times easier. Coming up, signal received. Moving to next sector. The problem: document chaos and audit failure patterns. Officers, here's our battle map. Sprawl has overrun the perimeter. Out there are desert outposts, old shared drives with no sentries, unsecured villages, random teams built fast, abandoned faster, caravans of attachments, email threads hauling copies no one can track, and the graveyard of Final V8, Final V9, truly final. Docs, that's not a filing system. That's unstructured drift. It breeds orphaned knowledge and permissive sharing. No owners, no logs, no mercy. Now the incident. A regulator hails your bridge. Produce the approved contract revision, signed, redacted, with lineage. Your crew dives into sandstorms of folders. 72 hours pass. You find 3 versions, none authoritative. Meanwhile, financial penalties arm and spin. Political fallout spreads through the fleet. In the corridors, bulkheads seal as leadership loses trust. Poor ECM is operational blackout. You fly blind under fire. Why the old playbook fails? Folder first thinking assumes humans remember paths. They don't. No metadata means no beacons. Broken inheritance leaks permissions down forgotten warrants. Shadow it opens side doors to your hull. And chain of custody gaps? Auditors don't accept vibes. They need proof. Time-stamped, immutable, repeatable. 3 interstellar treaties your ship must uphold. ISO 27001 Annex A. 5 policies. A.8 asset management. A.9 access control. That's command, catalog, and shield gates. GDPR Article 5. Lawfulness, fairness, purpose limitation, data minimization, accuracy, storage limitation, integrity, and confidentiality. That's disciplined stewardship. SOC 2 CC6, CC8, logical access, change management, and incident response. That's locks, logs, and drills. Myths that sink ships. Search will save us. It won't. Garbage in, garbage indexed. Labels later. Later never comes, and leaks don't wait. Teams free for all. Freedom without rules becomes exposure. Listen to the soundscape. Alarms, static, reports flood in, external links with anyone with the link permissions, anonymous guests in projects that hold personal data, sensitive drafts synced to unmanaged endpoints. That's not collaboration, that's a breach forming in your wake. Here's the better method. We move from chaos to command by installing a fortress pattern and tying every vault to Purview law. 1 site equals 1 mission, 1 library equals 1 vault. We assign owners, define purpose, and register life cycles. Then labels and DLP give those laws teeth, detect, block, or justify with full audit. Identity drives access. Metadata guides retrieval. Policy triggers action. Audit seals the chain. Implementation now. Freeze tenant-wide external sharing to a baseline. Create an allow-only exception group managed by operations. Lock every change. This buys you oxygen while we rebuild the hull. Tactical win. Lock external sharing now, and 40% of your chaos collapses instantly. Remember the stakes. Audit failures drain treasury. Leaks trigger political fallout. Broken ECM darkens your sensors. We won't lose a ship on my watch. Signal received. Moving to next sector. The Imperial Archive. ECM that holds under fire. Engineers, we build the fortress now. No more sprawl, no more drift. We deploy the Imperial Archive pattern. 1 site equals 1 mission. Each mission has a charter, a named owner, a backup owner, a clear purpose statement at the site home. Renewal reviews set on the calendar. If a site lacks a mission, decommission it. Dead mass slows the fleet. Inside the site, 1 library equals 1 vault. Name the vaults by business outcome, not by general. Examples: working drafts, published corpus, contracts, executed, research, reference. Every vault lists its custodians and approved content scope. If it doesn't belong, it doesn't dock here. File plan is our battle map. Start with business areas, then document types, then lifecycle. Draft. published, archive, disposition, mark, which are records, which are working documents. Records carry different rules. They don't bend under pressure. Tie each stage to an action. Drafts live in working drafts with check-in, check-out as needed. Published moves to published corpus after approval. Archive retires to cold storage with retention. Disposition deletes or transfers per decree. Content types are ranks. Create them centrally. For each type, define the template, required columns, and retention linkage. Deployed through a content type hub or modern equivalent, they become reusable across the Fortress grid. Contracts get contract ID, counterparty, effective date, renewal date. Policies get owner version, approval date, scope. No rank, no deployment. Metadata are beacons. Keep 5 to 7 fields. Use defaults where possible. Make fields mandatory only when the payoff is high. Findability, routing, compliance. Set column formatting to show status at a glance. Use choice fields for controlled values. Stop folder explosions. We don't hide signal in labyrinths. Permissions are shield doors. Owners, members, visitors. Nothing else unless justified. Least privilege, always. External rules are per site and documented in the mission charter. Avoid broken inheritance. If you must break it, record why, who approved, and when it expires. Periodic access reviews are orders, not suggestions. Now the draft to publish flow, working versus published libraries. Enable minor versions in working drafts, major versions in published corpus. Gate with approval. Use Power Automate if needed, but keep it simple. When a record is declared, like an executed contract, flip the record switch. Immutable, auditable, move, don't copy. A label travels with it, a copy does not. Compare tech errors. Folders are pre-FTL. They require memory, tribal maps, and luck. Metadata with content types is warp-ready infrastructure. Routing, views, filters, retention, instant. The ship flies itself to the target instead of you wandering the void. Pitfalls we neutralize. Librarian tyranny. Over-engineered fields that no one fills. Fix with fewer better signals. Unmanaged personal drives. Sync used as escape pods. Disable sync where it invites chaos. Rogue sync to unmanaged endpoints. Block with device compliance. Missy libraries. Abolish them. Every vault has a purpose or gets scrapped. Let me show you exactly how this feels on the console. Create a communication or team site for the mission. Add 3 vaults. Working drafts, published corpus, records, sealed. Deploy core content types. Policy, contract, procedure, plan. Add columns, owner, status, effective date, sensitivity, retention category. Set default metadata at the library root. Build views, ready for approval, expiring in 90 days, unlabeled, remediate. And append them to the nav. You've just turned a hallway into a command deck. Common mistakes. Building 10 libraries for every subtopic. Don't. Use metadata to slice. For approvals, forgetting to record approver identity and timestamp. Fix with a column or Power Automate stamp. Mixing working and published in one vault. That breeds confusion and audit pain. Keep them separate. Cross-link if needed. Quick win you can execute today. Add core content types and required columns to your top 5 sites. Apply default metadata. Build 1 unlabeled view per site. Tactical win. Do that. And 60% of future governance pain evaporates. The reason this works is simple. We've bound identity to access. We've bound metadata to movement. We've bound lifecycle to law. Now Purview can see, decide, and act. Without this spine, labels and DLP are banners in the wind. Signal received. Moving to next sector. Purview shield wall. Law, labels, and interdiction. Officers form the shield wall. Law first, then steel. Baseline architecture. Identity. Label, policy, detection, action, audit. That's the order of battle. Identities anchor decisions. Labels declare intent. Policies give teeth. Detections light targets. Actions interdict. Audits prove the chain. Miss a link and the hull opens. Sensitivity labels are identity sigils. They travel with the file. They encrypt. They stamp usage rights. They mark headers and footers so humans see the warning. They work across Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. At rest. In motion. Even when a file leaves your ship, the seal still bites. A label without enforcement is a banner in the wind. We tie it to encryption and policy so it defends, not decorates. Retention labels are Imperial decrees. Retain, delete, retain, then delete. Event-based, when the clock starts at a business moment, like contract expiration or employee departure. Disposition review routes sealed records to archive lords for final approval. Every decision is logged. Every deletion is lawful. That's how we survive inspections. Auto-classification is our scout wing. Start with built-in sensitive info types. Credit cards, national IDs, bank numbers. Add trainable classifiers when the pattern lives in language, not numbers. Scope labels by admin units, so each planet, each region or subsidiary receives only the laws they need. No crossfire. Data loss prevention is interdiction. We watch Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, and endpoints. We start in simulation mode. We learn the traffic, we tune the rules, then we enforce. With user tips and justified overrides where business demands speed. The reason this works is simple. Simulation lets us find the right threshold without breaking operations. Then enforcement clamps down with proof. Now, let me show you exactly how to build this on the console. First, role discipline. In Purview, assign the right role groups. Compliance Administrator, Information Protection Administrator, and DLP Administrator to a small, trusted squad. No tourists on the bridge, then scope with admin units for geography or business lines. That's planetary control. Paris doesn't need Sydney's rules. Next, sensitivity labels. Create a tiered set. Public, internal, confidential, restricted. For confidential and restricted, enable encryption, offline access limits, and watermarking. Add header and footer text that maps to your file plan. Bind to usage rights. No forwarding, no print, external blocked or restricted by domain. Publish in a policy to targeted groups. Keep it lean so users choose fast. Auto-labeling. Create policies that detect credit cards, government IDs, and exact data match for your most critical lists, like customer IDs. Target SharePoint and OneDrive first. Choose simulation mode for 30 days. Review matches in Content Explorer, tune to reduce noise. Then enforce. Users see the label appear without lifting a finger. That's 80% of classification automated when your signals are good. Retention labels define core categories. Working draft, published policy, executed contract, HR record. Set durations based on legal schedules. For contracts, choose retain for X years from effective date, then disposition. For HR, event based on termination date. Publish to the sites that host those records. Configure disposition reviews with named archive lords. They approve or reject with comments. Chain sealed, DLP interdiction. Use templates for GDPR and financial data. Scope to all locations. Start in simulation. Enable user notifications with clear guidance. Require business justification for overrides. Route high-severity alerts to a dedicated channel with insider risk triage. After tuning, switch to block for external sharing and email to unknown domains. Override remains for trusted officers with recorded reason codes. We fight with precision, not panic. Insider risk. Activate signals, mass downloads, unusual sharing, exfiltration after notice. Define policies for departures, privilege misuse, and data sabotage. Triage in the insider risk queue. Evidence panels show sequence, not guesses. Act with HR and legal on comps. We move with proof. Common mistakes. Too many labels. Users freeze. Fix by merging tiers and reducing choice. Publishing labels tenant-wide day one. Don't. Target by unit. Turning on DLP in block mode blind. Don't. Simulate, then strike. Ignoring device state. Enforce on compliant devices. Unmanaged endpoints leak. Compliant endpoints obey. Quick demo drill. Enable Content Explorer and Activity Explorer. These are your sensors. Content shows what you have. Activity shows what moved. Run a query for external sharing with sensitivity equal confidential. If you get hits, interdiction isn't live. Close the gap immediately. Tactical upgrade you can execute today. Deploy a baseline credit card DLP policy in simulation across Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. Turn on user tips, review matches for 7 days. Then enable block for external destinations with override plus justification. Tactical win, one policy, and your external sharing risk score drops fast. Remember the stakes. Audits demand receipts. Leaks trigger fallout. Poor law equals blackout. Our wall stands because our law bites. Signal received. Moving to next sector. The Audit Crucible, eDiscovery and compliance monitoring. Officers, we enter the Crucible. The auditor is on comms waiting. You have 300 seconds. No stalling, no rummaging. We execute the drill. First, activate the Discovery Grid. In Purview, we launch eDiscovery Standard for light skirmishes. eDiscovery Premium when we need full forensics, collection, review sets, legal hold, and export packs. Our rules of engagement. Scope tight. Collect, clean, preserve chain. Your mission coordinates define the matter. Name it with the mission code, owner, and time box. Add custodians, mailboxes, OneDrives, and the SharePoint fortresses that host the vaults we built. This is identity-first targeting. We don't trawl the ocean, we chart lanes. Now the law takes hold. If litigation or regulator inquiry is confirmed, place legal hold on the custodians. This freezes the relevant content without tipping the ship into chaos. Users still work. The hold preserves prior versions, deletions, and edits. The chain stays sealed. No hearsay, only evidence. Search parameters. We never free-type guesses. We align to our file plan and labels. Filter by sensitivity label equals restricted or confidential. Filter by content type equals executed contract or published policy. Add date ranges and known terms. Counterparty name, contract ID, approval stamp fields. This is metadata fire control. It zeroes the target. Execute preview, validate hits, remove noise, tighten with proximity or exact phrase. If signal delta 17 is active, the insider leak. We add condition shared externally, and sender equals the suspect identity. We pivot to Teams messages and OneDrive shares. Timeline views expose the pattern, who touched it, when, and where it moved. We trace the route through the hull, move to review set. This is our war room table. We apply deduplication so we don't count the same round twice. We run near duplicate detection and email threading to collapse chatter. We tag documents by relevance, hot, responsive, privileged. We apply redaction for personal data under GDPR, names, national IDs, contact info, using the redaction blade. The decree is clear. Disclose what's required, protect what's private. Export protocol. For regulator delivery, we export with load files, hash manifests, and an audit report. The package includes search criteria, timestamps, custodian list, and chain of custody logs. The auditor wants proof, not a story. We hand them steel. Compliance monitoring stands Overwatch. In Purview, enable communication compliance to scan high-risk channels for policy breaches, PII in chats, harassment flags, unapproved solicitations. It routes findings to trained reviewers with justification workflow. Every action is logged. No witch hunts. Evidence only. Compliance Manager is our Readiness dashboard. It maps controls to ISO 27001, GDPR, and SOC 2. We review improvement actions tied to our shield wall. Access reviews, data retention, DLP enforcement, insider risk triage. Each control carries impact implementation guidance and evidence upload. We assign owners, we set due dates, we capture artifacts, screenshots of label policies, export manifests, meeting minutes. When the inspector boards, we don't scramble, we present the ledger. Drill it now, the 5-minute audit maneuver. Scenario, M&A clean room, request, final executed contract with redactions, approval lineage, and current retention. Step 1. Content Explorer, filter by label, restricted and content type, executed contract within the M&A fortress. Step 2. Open the record, confirm header, watermarks, and encryption. Step 3. Show version history and approver column. Step 4. Purview, retention label details, policy name, duration, event trigger. Step 5. eDiscovery Premium, run scoped search, add to review set, apply redaction for personal data, export manifest. Stopwatch stops. Auditor acknowledges. Hull pressure stabilizes. Monitor the flank. Insider risk signals crossfeed into DLP and eDiscovery. If a surge hits, mass download, outbound share after departure notice, we place a targeted hold, snapshot evidence, and log external links pending review. This is the information cordon. We stop the bleeding before we suture. Common mistakes that burn time. Collecting too broad, terabytes of noise, hours lost. Fix with label and content type filters. Skipping legal hold. Evidence disappears, case collapses. Apply holds early, late redaction, manual panic. Build redaction templates for GDPR patterns. Ignoring communication compliance. Bad conduct hides in jokes. Turn it on with narrow, justified policies. Tactical upgrade you execute today. Pre-stage and audit rapid response eDiscovery case template. Standard custodian roles. Saved queries by label and content type. Redaction presets for PII. And an export profile with hash manifest. Tactical win. One template. And audit retrieval drops below 5 minutes under fire. Remember the stakes. Audit failures cost credits. Leaks spark fallout. Poor oversight blinds the bridge. Signal received. Moving to next sector. Maintenance and future readiness. Officers, the wall holds only if we maintain it. Governance is not a project, it's crew discipline. We schedule drills, we verify seals, we adjust fire. Your standing orders start with ownership. Every fortress lists an owner and a deputy. Quarterly operations runs access reviews on owners, members, visitors. Remove drift. Expire temporary access. Document exceptions with reason codes and dates. That evidence becomes audit armor. Next, renewal cycles. Each site carries a mission timer. At renewal, the owner confirms purpose, audience, and data classes. If the mission ended, archive and decommission. If scope changed, update the charter and labels. Dead sites become ghost decks. We don't carry ghosts. Telemetry grids keep us honest. In Purview, enable Content Explorer and Activity Explorer reports to run weekly. Route findings to a governance channel. Metrics we watch like radar. Percent of files with sensitivity labels in top sites, number of external shares by label, DLP override counts with justifications, retention policy coverage by content type, command priorities, labels above 85% in mission sites, DLP overrides trending down, external anyone links at 0. Calibration is constant. When overrides spike, we inspect the cases. If they're valid business, we adjust allow lists or rule thresholds. If they're reckless, we coach and escalate. Use simulation again when expanding scope to new regions or workloads. Simulation is not weakness, it's target practice. Admin units are our planetary expansion model. Each region or subsidiary gets scoped governance, labels, DLP, retention that matches local law and risk. Paris follows EU privacy directives. Sydney addresses local finance rules. The core tiers stay consistent, but publishing policies target by admin unit. Fewer surprises, less crossfire. Device state is a gate. Enforce label usage and DLP on compliant devices first. Block unmanaged endpoints from syncing sensitive libraries. Use conditional access to restrict download of confidential and restricted to compliant hybrid joined devices. If the hull isn't certified, it doesn't dock at the vault. Change control is a shield door. Any new label, DLP rule, or retention policy ships through a change record. We test in a pilot unit. We gather telemetry for 1 week. We review with legal and security. Then we deploy in waves. After each wave, we check blast radius and user feedback. No big bang blasts. Controlled volleys. Training is fuel. We brief teams on the 4-tier label model and the never move data naked doctrine. Short, focused clips. Label selection in Office, how to check retention, what to do on a DLP tooltip, how to request external access. Reward correct behavior, celebrate fast audit drills, culture sustains controls when alarms fade. Inside a risk readiness is a triad. HR, legal, and SecOps meet monthly to review anonymized trends, departures, access surges, data movement. We test Signal Delta 17 playbooks, cordon the site, snapshot evidence, activate targeted holds, and restore access post-triage. The goal is proportionate response, documented in the logbook. Compliance Manager is our compass. We track ISO 27001 Annexer controls, GDPR data governance tasks, and SOC2 access and change management. We assign each improvement action to an owner with a due date. We upload proof, policy pages, screenshots, export manifests, change tickets. We review the score for drift, not vanity, direction. Backup is not governance, but it's resilience. Ensure SharePoint, OneDrive, and Exchange have point-in-time restore capabilities understood by the crew. Test restore for a labeled document and confirm the label persists. If the copy loses its seal, we fix the process. Records must survive disaster with their law intact. AI readiness patrols the frontier. Before we arm co-pilots, we hard seal data boundaries. Block AI from learning on restricted and confidential unless explicitly allowed. Use sensitivity labels in prompts and responses where supported. Audit AI access paths like any other channel. The fleet adopts new engines only after the hull is sound. Tactical upgrade you execute this week. Stand up a governance ops sprint 2 hours every fortnight. Agenda. Label coverage report, DLP override review, external share exceptions, site renewals due, and top 5 remediation tickets. Publish a 1-page battle log to leadership. Tactical win. 1 recurring sprint keeps drift from becoming disaster. Future readiness checklist. New business line. Provision its fortress from a template with content types, labels, and views baked in. New region, Clone policies into a fresh admin unit and simulate for a week. M&A intake? Spin a clean room with restricted default label, blocked external, and event-based retention aligned to the deal clock. Decommissioning, retention review, export manifests, signed disposition. No loose ends. Remember, we hold the line by routine. Small checks, fast fixes, relentless logs. When pressure rises, our systems don't squeal. They sing. Signal received. Moving to next sector. Here's the takeaway. Lock the fortress pattern, arm the Purview shield wall, drill the 5-minute audit, and your ship stays audit-ready under fire. Now act. Deploy the baseline DLP in simulation today, publish the 4 sensitivity tiers to a pilot unit, and schedule your governance ops sprint. Subscribe and join our fleet. Next mission, advanced auto-classification with trainable classifiers and exact data match. Dismissed. Prepare for the next incursion.